your blog post at night, and then you go back in the morning and maybe adjust some of the content or the writing that you had written?
Yeah, some of the text, particularly,
Hmm.
uh, even though it wasn't, I seem to be getting an echo on here. Um, Even though it wasn't very, there wasn't much text. I
Hmm.
would find I'd look at it again and think, well, that was a bit, I don't know, not very good, or change some stuff or whatever. So,
Hmm.
and in fact, when I said to you the other day, when we were um, corresponding, that I had two already done, the second one that was ready, that's got binned.
Oh,
So it was a panorama one, and of a view from the Brecon Beacons, and I got talking about it like a patchwork quilt and stuff, and then I looked at it and thought, well, actually, what I'm saying is rubbish. So, so, so I did the sunset one with the swan instead. So,
uh-huh.
so that was good because you know self-critiquing is good in itself, I think. So,
Yeah, I think self-critiquing is good in itself, especially I think that artists can be really hard on themselves and really,
yeah,
I don't know what the word is, but a lot of times you think your pictures aren't good enough or you think your
yeah,
words aren't good enough. And
yeah,
believe me, what you're doing, I do it all the time. Like a lot of times I'll set up my blog, but just the picture, because for me, that's the easier part. Like
yeah,
just put the picture up there. Maybe I'll think about what I want to write. Maybe I won't.
yeah,
But my biggest thing is get the picture up there. Maybe a couple hours later, or maybe the next day, I'll go in and write
yeah,
what I want to write about and things like that. So
yeah,
what you're describing, it just totally seems
yeah,
like something I would do. And
yeah,
uh, even though that the panorama picture, the writing that you haven't figured out what you want to say about it or anything like that, just keep it for another day. Just don't
yeah, yeah,
really scrap the whole thing.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
because yeah, so for right before this critique, I think you're blogging every day.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So do you think you could keep up with that schedule even after this is all done?
Um, yeah, I think I could. It's whether
Mhm.
whether I've got the determination to do that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I get some emails from some other photography emails where they do a blog every day, and
Mhm.
I have to say I don't read them all.
Mhm.
Um, I look at the picture and I think, and then I see how long the text is, and I think, am I interested in that? No, I'm not, and it's gone in the bin, and not really read it. So I'm not sure whether, again, it's probably too much of a self-critique. I
Mhm.
suppose the thing is to do it and let others decide whether it's too much or not,
Exactly. And then
rather than I decide that it's too much.
exactly, because people are going to love your work because it's
Yeah,
your work, you know.
yeah,
They're going to love it no matter what. And
yeah,
sometimes even with my favorite photographers, I'll just look at the picture and not read the captions or whatever it is, because
yeah,
I'm really there just for the images. That's what I
yeah,
enjoy the most. So
yeah,
yeah, it's really up to your reader, and it's you can do what you want because it is your blog, and
yeah,
you can decide if things um are worthy enough to put
yes,
on your
yeah,
blog and things like that. But I really do believe that consistency and having a schedule and letting
yeah,
people know that schedule and being accountable for that will get you further. Just having, for me, having my daily blog, my images have just, um, as far as quality, I think it's just gotten so much better because
yeah,
I'm constantly working on new images all the time for the blog.
yes,
And it's forced me to go out even when I don't want to take
yeah,
pictures. And then I
yeah,
never regret going out taking pictures because it's always so
yeah,
much fun.
yeah. I mean,
Even,
I wouldn't have a problem posting an image every day.
hmm
The problem I have, I think, if of doing it every day is writing the text. I spend far more time writing the text
yeah,
than I do processing the image.
yeah,
Um, and I, I, I think I feel like I don't just want to write 5 words and say, here's a picture of such and such. Neither do I want to write War and Peace, but I feel that what I do want to write, or what I write, should be something that's worth saying. So I
yeah,
end up spending ages on the text, and I think that's what would stop me from doing it every day. So I think there'll be times um, that I might post an image every day, for example, on Facebook, rather than
hmm
necessarily post a blog every day where there's some text aligned to it. Um,
I,
I find that easier to do. Just, there's plenty of images there to post that have not been posted so far, and
mhm.
but putting a bit of a story behind each one, I found that more difficult.
Yeah. Well, just like photography, and when you first started out with photography, like processing or even taking your pictures would take a long time. Like you
Yeah,
would fumble
yeah,
and you didn't really know your equipment well enough and things like that. Maybe even Lightroom and use Lightroom.
yes, yes,
Yeah, even learning Lightroom, there's always that learning curve, and
yeah,
it's just going to be the same thing as writing. It's going to
yeah,
get a lot easier, and it's just going to come to you more naturally. The more that you do it and the more you're consistent with it,
yeah.
I think the happier you'll be
Okay,
a year from now, even a couple months from now. It
yeah,
just takes a lot of practice, just like anything else. It's
yeah,
and in itself, it's another art form,
yes,
and just you realizing what you want, the kind of mood and the vibes and the what you want your readers to feel when they're viewing your pictures, but also reading about your pictures
yeah,
is entirely up to you. But
yeah,
that will come eventually. The more you practice, the more
yes.
it will come.
I mean, I've noticed that you don't write a vast amount when you're doing your blog,
Yeah.
which is encouraging to me. As I say, some of these other ones
Sometimes
that
I
I get, some of these other ones I get are, they're this much. There's a lot of
do. Yeah.
text there,
Yeah.
and some days I feel like reading that, and other days I don't feel like reading it. So,
Yeah. hmm
um,
Yeah, it doesn't always have to be lengthy blog posts. It could just
no,
be a few sentences. And
no,
um, yeah, sometimes I do have longer blog posts, but most of the time mine are pretty short. So
yeah,
I just think that's kind of the type of person I am.
yeah,
I feel the same way you do a lot of times. So I saw that you had posted some of the image or some blog posts that you wanted to talk about in the cohort. So did you
yes.
want to go with the ones that Monica
Yes,
said that she liked?
Monica was about, well, I think Bonnie as well said she agreed with Monica. So those were the
hmm
only two responses I got. So yes, yeah, that'd be
Okay,
fine.
so let's talk about those in particular. Let me screen share your, some reason that's not working. Okay, so let's do this. Let me resize this, get this on here. Okay, so this was number 2. Summer breeze makes me feel fine.
Yeah,
And then first of all, just wanted to say that I really liked that title or the name of this blog post. Just the
Well,
feel, the
you can't.
emotion. Oh, go
Yeah,
ahead.
you can't beat a bit of the Isley Brothers.
But it's just like just you putting an emotion right away into
Right.
the
Yeah.
title,
Yeah.
and it just makes me feel happy already. Just
Yeah.
even this
Okay.
little preview of the picture right there, I
Yeah.
like that a lot.
Yeah.
That was my favorite part. So then you go on, there's your image, and not to completely go past this image, this is a great image. Um, and then you just go in and talk about what it was like shooting this.
Yeah.
So tell me about this blog post. What do you like about it? What don't you like about it? What would you do differently, I guess?
Well, I thought Kathy's point was very good that I should have cropped the sky a bit. So in terms of
Hmm.
the image itself,
Yeah.
it does look better if you knock about a third to a half of the sky off. It does bring the foreground out a bit more,
Hmm.
and the mid distance. I was quite happy with it, really. I think I like the fact that it was fairly short. I
Hmm.
like to be descriptive when I'm writing some text, so I try and describe things in a way that it, it might come over as a bit literary, but
Hmm.
uh, I try and do that really. That's a purposeful thing, I think, really. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, I've noticed that some of your other blog posts, not necessarily this one as much, but some of your other ones are very, they kind of have a more formal kind of vibe to them.
yeah,
This one I liked, I enjoyed. I think out of all of the ones that Monica and Bonnie mentioned, that this one was probably my favorite, just because it was more about you and your experience and what it was like being there.
yeah,
So for
okay,
me, this one was probably my favorite, just to the image itself is really great. Uh, I really like it, and it's really interesting to look at, and all those the cornfield in front is really interesting.
yeah,
But as far as the text and the blog post, like just the title, really got me into the mood and the feeling of what you're going to be talking about, and
sure,
then I enjoy reading your experience as
yeah,
a and
okay,
then
I understand that.
so yeah, and then so she also mentioned number three. I think that I shall never see a poem lovely as a tree. Oh, I do remember this one too when you posted this at first. So tell me about this one.
Um, I liked the image,
Hmm.
um, and then I tried to build a story around the image. I took the image. It was during the summer, and I'd been to visit my mum in the nursing home that she was staying in at the time,
Hmm.
and and she was staying in this nursing home, which is in Beverley, and Beverley Westwood is just on the outskirts of it. It's like a piece of common land,
Hmm.
um, and and it was quite a nice day. I posted on the previous cohort another one of the images from there,
Hmm.
which had an old mill building on it, and where I was kind of knelt down in the buttercups and
Oh,
got.
nice.
Um, so what I tried to do was build um, a little story around the tree itself, and I looked online for poems about trees and
Hmm.
or quotes about trees, and found that I had something in the back of my mind about that line,
Hmm.
so I managed to find it. And then I worked for a timber company, so I was able to
Hmm.
bring a little bit of um, kind of trade knowledge, if you like, into a little bit of the thing, and just really wanted to talk about um, trees themselves, and how I've always been a lover of trees, and the different varieties and the shapes that they bring,
Hmm.
and but then it was the line at the end was really just because on the day that I was taking it, I'd been seeing my mum. I was a bit down, and the trees kind of bucked me up a little bit and made me a little bit happier for seeing the trees.
Mm-hmm.
So that was why I said it. You know, the cares of the day melted away because I was looking at something that was beautiful, and
Yeah.
so that's really the story behind it.
Yeah. That's nice. I think the what you for me personally, I just like hearing your perspective and your point of view. So for me, the last paragraph was the more kind of interesting,
Yeah,
the part that I like the most. Like I just want to go to Graham's blog and just learn more about Graham and learn more about your photography and maybe what it was like to be there, what you felt, what um, what interests you. That's just really what I want to go or read about or see when I'm on your website. And so,
yeah. You see
I
that's partly the difficult part for me because I'm
yeah.
quite an introspective person, and
Hmm.
um, um, previously my response to that would have been, "What's it got to do with you?" So, so so it takes a bit of an effort for me to
Yeah.
start divulging too much. I
Yeah.
give little snippets away,
Yeah.
but I'm certainly better than I used to be.
Good. Yeah, and it just all of that takes time. I mean, you don't
Yeah,
necessarily have to talk about your mom if you don't feel comfortable talking
no,
about your mom or
no,
anything like that. But for me, that's just what I like to see.
yeah,
And I think that is great that you put that extra effort to go in to find something that really, the little excerpt that you have there to really
yeah,
find something that spoke to you or that really resonated with you. So that in
yeah,
itself, that you picked that quote and that um, little excerpt is great.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this was interesting. I just my personal preference is just to see it, just to feel a little more.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So this is the last one I think that
Yes.
was mentioned.
Yeah.
Tell me about this one.
Well, again, it was you know, I was looking back through my image library and saw this one that I'd processed at the time, did a little bit of reprocessing on it,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, I was thinking back to the holiday that we'd had then, and um, you know, again, tried to build a story around it, tried to put myself back on that day when um, I was going to put this in the text, but I decided not to. Actually, I actually left my wife at dinner, which is
Oh
not the
yeah.
first time I've done it, um, to go and take an image of the sun setting. So
Uh-huh.
once did it in Sorrento in Italy as well, and she reminds me of it, funnily enough.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that.
So yeah, so I was just trying to put myself back. I took a lot of images of this particular sunset,
Hmm.
and I was looking at different ones, but I kept coming back to this one. So I
Hmm.
was really just trying to put myself back into that holiday and you know, the great time that we had, and just say a little bit about sunsets in general, you know,
Hmm. Yeah.
that I really like them. I'm far more happy to be around for a sunset than I am up for a sunrise.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just trying to get a little bit of that emotion about how nice a sunset can be.
Yeah. That's nice. I think that you bringing that out is very nice. Can I say something about the image
Yeah,
itself?
yeah,
The image itself, it seems a little bit dark for me, especially since we're talking about such a lovely summer day and like you're on holiday and you're just talking about how great it is to
yeah.
witness the sunset. And so for me, it's a little bit dark,
Okay.
but going to the text and to the content of your blog, I think that when we met up in that one day a couple weeks ago, I just think that you're so funny and it's so fun to listen to you tell stories and even that little snippet about you leaving your wife. I know you were thinking about putting that in, and then decided not to put it in there. I think that's funny and just a memorable kind of story.
Yeah.
It's something memorable that I would think of every time I looked at this picture, as opposed to a generalization of sunsets in general.
Yeah. Okay.
So even if it wasn't something like personal, if like maybe like you had something that made this a little bit more memorable, or a story behind it a little bit memorable to tell your viewer or to tell your readers about, so that every time they see this picture, they have another way to connect with the picture.
Right. Yeah.
I think that would be great.
Yeah. Okay.
But just reading the content that you have here, it does put me into the place of feeling so relaxed and so calm, and just thinking what it would be like to be in the Mediterranean.
Yeah.
With you taking pictures. I think that's very nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I know we had also talked about how you wanted to link your blog posts and things like that. Make it easier for your reader and your viewer to purchase your pictures. How are we with that?
Yes. I've not done anything since I did that submission for level 26 yet. So
Okay.
now that the house sale is out of the way, I can get on to looking at all of that.
Okay, good. Good. I hope you can get to that soon.
I mean, all of the images, all of the blog post images are on SmugMug.
Okay, perfect.
But I've got to really sort out the link. If you open them on the website, the actual image, if you click on the image, it just opens a larger version of the image rather than goes on to SmugMug. And there are only some of the templates within Squarespace that will link directly to another website like SmugMug. The one that I'm using at the moment doesn't, but there are other ones that do it. So unfortunately, it means a bit of a whole revamp of the whole website. So it's not a 5-minute thing. So, but it's certainly doable. Now I'm going to have the time to be able to do that.
Okay, good, good. Was there anything else that you wanted to talk about in particular, or had any questions about as far as things go?
One was actually about your video that you posted today.
Okay.
The music on it, do you have a license for that, or how does that work?
So most of the time when I do YouTube videos, I look for royalty-free music. So those are music that you can use on your YouTube videos and things like that. But I had seen someone else on YouTube use the same music before. And so I went to their SoundCloud and went to go see if I could use it, or what her licensing thing was. So for her, she said that anybody could use it, and then as long as you credit her back and things like that. So I did that in the description in the YouTube. So in general, I don't know how many artists really let you do that.
Right. I did hear another thing as well, that you're allowed to use any song but for 4 seconds or something.
Yeah, because then that gets into like the copywriting and things like that.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Okay. That was just an interesting part, because the music helps make the video.
Yeah. Especially when you're not talking.
Yeah. But I like your editing of it as well. It's well put together. It's really good.
Thank you.
Do you use Final Cut or iMovie, or?
I just use iMovie. I think that for now, iMovie does what I want it to do, but I think in the future I will learn Final Cut just so I can maybe clean it up a little bit more and things like that. Yeah. Like the transitions and things like that. I know you can do some pretty cool things with Final Cut. Yeah. So I really enjoyed the video that you created, your very first kind of
the tutorial
editing thing. Tutorial, that's what I meant. That's the word I was looking for. So are you thinking about doing more videos then?
Yes, I think so. I think I've looked at quite a few online, and I forget how long that one was that I did. Was it 7 or 8 or 10 minutes or something?
I don't remember it being too long. Like it was a good length of time.
Yeah, I think that kind of length of time is good. That being the case, you can always go into the amount of detail that you might want to go into. And I think I did it really without writing any notes down, and I think I would need to, formalize the procedure a bit more and have at least some bullet points of what I wanted to cover down ready. So I did. That was the second run through. I had done it and recorded it once, so I'd run through it previously. But yeah, I think it's something that I'm going to do some more of. Yeah.
That's cool. I think that that video that you created was definitely targeted to photographers, and your blog might be targeted to someone else.
Yes. Yeah.
So I would also consider who would you like to target? Because for me, I think a lot of photographers follow my blog, and so they would be interested in maybe the story behind it, but also editing and things like that. So that could also be something that you would consider while you're writing your blog posts and things like that. Who are you actually writing to?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and then any future videos or tutorials or anything like that, I think would be really interesting.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I like, yeah, I think that the content that you've already put out there has been really great. How is your social media and things going?
Not at the moment. So that's on the agenda as well.
Okay, good.
Well, as I say, not. I mean, all the blog posts get posted to Facebook. So I'm getting a few likes on there from family and friends and so forth.
Good. That's where it starts.
I've not done anything yet. You get this thing that comes up, says you've reached 150 people with this, and if you spend a few pounds, you can reach.
Oh, yeah.
Is it promotion or something they call it?
Yeah, like sponsored.
Yeah, I've not done anything like that yet. So we'll see. I've not sold anything yet either. So, but, and I kind of have this. It's not a fear, but I have this kind of niggling thought in the back of my mind that I'm never going to sell anything. That you know, I'll just end up doing this for me and for a few family and friends. Which, if that is the case, I'm fairly comfortable with that. You know, it's. I think I said once before, it's not the be all and end all to make any money out of it. It would be nice to be able to do that.
Have you ever considered like any photography shows or like printing out your work and like going to like flea markets or something like that?
Well, I did enter a local show here.
That's right.
Year.
When we first started, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, there might be the opportunity to do some more of that. Yeah. Certainly.
Yeah, I think going and printing out your images and then seeing the reaction people have to your images in person, in real life, is such a powerful thing. And I think that once you see like other people recognizing that your work is so great, that I think it would help kind of pump you up and trying to promote yourself and to get some sales.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, especially just local. That's how I started just selling my work locally, and I never thought that anyone would purchase any of my work. But then I would just sell some like 8x10s, and for me, that was so exciting. And it was just, I felt like the first step, and it just takes one. And then just need to keep on going.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. That's good advice.
What are you up to next?
Well, I'm not sure, to be honest. I think I'm probably going to take a bit of time out from the Arcanum and just concentrate on getting things sorted that I need to do. You know, getting the website done and getting more on the social media side.
That's good.
And then, I mean, I'm assuming that if I went up and did the next level, or even, because isn't was it Kathy that said she'd gone into Ron's? Presumably